Good evening and welcome. My name is Jeff Mangler and I'm the camp director for the Webelos camp at Big Timber, which will be on July 23rd through 25th this year. And thank you for attending our pre-camp meeting. I want to tell you right away that if you have any questions, that's part of why we're doing this, is so we can answer your questions. Type those into the chat box, and we have folks that are monitoring those, and they'll pass those questions on so that we can address those while we're still all live on this. For a little context, Camp Big Timber was founded in 1924 and has been a scout camp ever since. A lot's changed over those nearly 100 years, yet the fundamentals of scouting, of course, remain the same. And this is only our second Webelos camp at CBT in recent years. And of course, this year in 2020, we have our extra challenges with the safety of our camp and the COVID-19 pandemic. So we wanted to go over a few of the procedural things and the ways we're going to make camp safe this year. We know that parents have a lot of questions about that. So when families arrive at our camp on Thursday, July 23rd, everyone will proceed as directed by the staff, and they'll have their temperature checked with a non-contact thermometer before they can proceed all the way into the parking lot. If no one in your vehicle has a fever, then you'll proceed on to park and go to check-in. If someone does end up having a fever, we'll pull your vehicle out, and there'll be some other things that our medical staff will check. But if anyone really has a fever in the vehicle, then you won't be allowed to attend camp. Then, of course, at check-in, we'll go over all the usual paperwork. Make sure you have your medical forms for each scout and each adult. You'll be assigned to a group or a cohort. One of the ways that we're working to keep everyone safe this year. You'll be given a color-coded wristband, and once you've completed the check-in, then you can return to the parking lot and start to unload your gear. And as at most BSA camps, you will not be allowed to drive to your campsite. Camp staff will transport all of your gear to your campsite. The campsites will correspond to the group you were assigned, and you'll remain with that group throughout the activities of camp. So now I just want to do a quick little introduction to some of our staff that we'll have at our camp this year. One of the things that makes our camp a little different is the experience level that we have. So I will be serving as the camp director, and I've been a scouter for over 20 years. I was the director of our really first modern Webelos resident camp at CBT last year. Marianne Griswold, who many of you know, will be our program director. She's been in scouting for many decades and has directed many camps over her career. Mr. Mike Fugate is our medical officer. He'll be the one responsible for keeping us all safe, treating any injuries, and inspecting the camp. And he's very extensively trained. If I were ever stranded in the wilderness, Mike Fugate's the guy I'd want coming to rescue me. And then, of course, Mr. Jeremy Case is our camp ranger at CBT, and he'll be taking care of all the facilities. He's relatively new to Camp Big Timber, but he's a longtime scouter, very experienced, has already made huge improvements there that if you haven't been there for a while, you'll notice. We'll introduce the rest of our volunteer staff on Thursday evening after you've set up your camp. The staff is all built on experience and passion. A little different than what you might experience at a camp where there are paid youth staff. For example, earth rocks will be taught by a professional geologist at our camp. Into the woods will be taught by a professional ecologist. First responder will be taught by a registered nurse. Our archery range master is a person who's just very passionate about archery. That's her personal interest. So I would encourage you to come out and let your scouts and all of your family learn from our experienced staff. For the COVID-19 protection measures, every scout will be issued a bottle of hand sanitizer. Every scout will be issued a buff that they can wear as a face mask. We'll have hand sanitizing stations throughout. Each group, I said you'll have color-coded wristbands. They'll correspond to your campsite and they'll correspond to your bathrooms. And you're to only use those bathrooms so that we also cut down on the commingling of people. Scouts should keep to their own bathrooms and to their own groups and help us keep the facilities clean, because a scout is clean, as we know from the scout law. And staff will be periodically sanitizing those throughout the day. We'll practice social distancing, we'll wear the masks, you'll stay in your groups, all of these things to keep everyone safe, but we'll try to make it as fun as we can. All of the program materials will either be single use or they'll be sanitized between uses by different scouts. really the main things that we envision sanitizing between scouts are the bows and arrows and the BB guns at the range. Most other things, for example, if your scout wants to do the Build It adventure pin, they'll be issued a Genius kit that will be theirs and theirs alone to use and choose the things out of. We'd also encourage you to bring your own camp chairs. We can't all huddle around the picnic tables like we usually do. We won't have that seating in the program areas. We need everyone to have their own chair to maintain that distancing, and bring your own water bottles. And we'll have ways that you can no touch fill up your water bottles throughout the camp. We're still going to try to have campfires. What's camp without a campfire? So we have burn barrels that are up on legs. They meet the rules of no ground fires. We'll have one for each campsite. And we're going to put them all in a circle so that maybe we can hear you doing your songs from your own campfire in your own campsite. And so I would encourage all the scouts to come with a couple of skits or songs ready that are scout appropriate. The groups that we'll assign will be based on whether your scout is a first-year Webelos or an Arrow of Light Scout, so that you'll be working on the appropriate Webelos adventure pins. As our registration grows, we also have some electives that we'll be offering as well for those that want to work on those. Unfortunately, the choices will be a little less than in a normal year because we have to keep people in their groups for our own safety. But that's basically the outline of the camp. We'd like to show you the schedule. I think we'll be able to bring that up on the screen here in a minute, so you can kind of see the day schedule of how that'll work. Thursday is mainly check-in, dinner, a camp tour, and then the campfires that I mentioned in the burn barrels in your campsites. And then Friday we'll begin with a regular program. We will have flags in the morning. We're going to do that in a way that everyone can stay in their own campsite and still see the flags and hear the speakers. And then you'll proceed to your programs in your assigned groups. All the meals will be done by those groups. You'll still cook your own dinner on Friday night in your campsite. And then we'll have various evening activities. And we also have a chart that will kind of show how those program rotations will work and what some of the evening activities will be. But we're hoping to offer human foosball, fishing, Webelos walkabout, a nature scavenger hunt, some geocaching along with that, and some rocket building for those that want to do that as part of their adventure pins. Unfortunately, you still have to stay in the group you were with all day in order to kind of keep things safe, but we're going to try to offer you as many fun activities as we can. If you're wondering where we're fishing, we're going to go over to the forest preserve that's on the other side of the creek, but very nearby. So that's kind of how the program will work. I'm confident that we'll have fun despite all the restrictions that we have. We have a good menu put together, and you'll enjoy the food. So before we move any further, are there any questions? Has anybody typed anything into the chat box that you need to know about our camp? Nothing? Our operators say nothing is coming up. All right, well then we have a little promotional video that is really just a few photographs that I took of our camp at CBT last year, just to give you a flavor of the camp. We won't necessarily be doing exactly the same activities, but we'll try to get that video queued up. It's very short, and then once the video is done, Taylor Price, who will be the camp director for the Webelos camp at Freeland Leslie, will join us virtually to say a few words about that version of the Webelos camp. Thank you, and hope to see you all at Camp Big Timber.
Is it my turn? Okay, hi everyone. If you can't hear me, please let us know. My name is Taylor Price. I am the camp director at Camp Freeland Leslie. We are actually in our very first week of Scouts BSA camp, so super excited to talk to you guys about our Webelos sessions. I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can kind of see a little general idea, and it'll be a little bit easier for me to show you. So I hope you can see this. We're gonna go right here. So we have our Webelos guide is going to be updated onto the website tomorrow. We have updated it kind of to help show you the adjustments for our COVID-19. I'm going to start with, it shows our programming and stuff. I'm going to start with our check-in procedures. Our Webelos guide does go over all of our check-in procedures. We're going to be doing them similar to how we usually do. So how that is you guys will come into our main gate and you will park your car. What we have talked about doing because of the COVID-19 precautions and people coming in different times, we are going to have you come when you can, and before you are able to go anywhere, you will kind of just wait with your car until our medical personnel can come to you and they can take your temperatures and get your pre-screening check. So we want to make sure we are kind of following our guidelines and make sure you guys are okay to kind of enter camp before actually going into camp. When you have done that, you may move all of your gear to, there will be designated signs near the parking lot. You will get a wristband that will have your campsite name on it, and that is going to be where you will want to move your gear. If you are cautious of our staff moving your gear, we recommend that you put all of your belongings in, say, a garbage bag and use duct tape to wrap it, and you can also then label it. So the biggest thing is you want to label all of your gear. It does not matter if it is just one pillow or anything like that. Please label your gear because it goes by campsite. So there could be someone else with maybe the same thing as you, and we want to make sure you guys get your gear. So if you do decide to use garbage bags and wrap it up, we ask that you also bring garbage bags for when we pick up your gear for the end of the week, so just kind of plan ahead for that. Again, this will all be in our program guide that will be updated for you tomorrow with our check-in. So after you put your gear down, you will go down to our dining pavilion, which is an open air area, and you will do your medical checks with our medical officers. And we will just check your medical records, all of that. You will need parts A and B, and then you will need a front and back copy of your insurance card. Please remember that. It is a pretty key part in our medical checks, and it makes it go a lot smoother. And you will also turn in any medications to our health officer that you will need for that. As soon as that is done, you will talk and you will go with your campsite host. Will then take you to your campsite to help you kind of get set up and do that. You'll have multiple campsite hosts in your area, and we'll always have someone there to kind of help you and guide you, especially if some of you may be new to the camp. So again, this is all going to be explained in our program guide about that. And so to kind of get into how it's going to operate, I have shared the screen for our adjustments. We are going to do cohorts, so that is going to be a group of you. We are trying to keep 40 and below and people from the same area. So if you are a pack and you're coming together, you guys will stay together. There might be another pack with you, depending on the size, and we want to make sure that we are following kind of the cohort system. So as you can see below right here is kind of how our rotation will look. In our Webelos guide, we do have our normal schedule, and we have 2 full days of program. So we broke it down into our AM and PM for both days. And we have, if you can see the areas that are located right here, these are going to be the areas that you will be able to go to during your cohort time. So say, for example, your cohort is cohort green. On the very first day right here, you will be in the morning doing the Webelos walkabout. If for some reason it shows two different titles, so say Waterfront and Scoutcraft, and you're the blue cohort that morning, you will have the option to go to either Waterfront or Scoutcraft. So you can alternate between the two and go halfway through and do that. So each cohort will have the opportunity to go to every single area. Our awesome one is our three area one, our nature, our new frontiers, and our trading post. So you guys will all have the opportunity to do that. The colors that are listed here are just kind of our examples. You will get your color, and that will also be your wristband color, will be your cohort color. So you'll kind of know what that is. And your cohort will be your campsite as a whole, and you guys as a whole will rotate to whatever area it is that you have in the morning, and then a different one in the evening or the afternoon. So that's kind of how that cohort part works with it. When you guys, I forgot this part. When you guys do arrive, you guys will be issued buffs, which are face masks. So leaders will have red ones, and the scouts will have green ones, and then you will also be issued a bottle of hand sanitizer. So we want to make sure we are all maintaining our physical distance whenever possible. So I think, as they mentioned earlier, we are also asking you guys to bring camp chairs because we don't have as many picnic tables as we would want, and we don't want everyone crowding around. Our counselors will be able to instruct and kind of be able to help guide you, but we want to make sure we're also staying in that physical distance part. So please make sure you are bringing those chairs, and you wear your masks, and you have your bottle of hand sanitizer. We do have hand sanitizer located basically everywhere around camp, near all the buildings, the program areas, everywhere, just so we make sure we are kind of following those guidelines and doing that. I'm going to share kind of our other part. So our evening program, generally we kind of have an open evening program. You can kind of go wherever you want. Obviously for circumstances this year, we can't really do that. So we have kind of, this is an example. In order for us to be able to allow everyone to try everything in every area in the evening, we're going to split our evenings into two different times. So you can see, for example, the red cohort can go to the waterfront during the first session in the evening one. And then there will be a second session in the evening where it will then, the red group would come out and then the blue group would go in. That way we can make sure everyone gets equal opportunity to go to each area. We know it's not a perfect system, but we really want to try to get everyone to have a really fun time in an adventure and get to kind of try everything. So we have those different areas. The waterfront, shooting sports, Scoutcraft, nature will be kind of a combined one, and then also our trading post with all of our fun snacks and t-shirts and gear and stuff that you guys can do. We will have our campfire the first night and also the closing campfire the last night. Our staff will actually come to you and do the campfires in your campsite. We've been doing it this week, and it's been super fun to actually go to the campsites. The scouts have been loving it. So we've been having a great time doing those campfires, and we're super happy we still get to offer that. And then kind of the last thing I'm going to touch base on is the food service part. So we serve our food to you. What we are going to do this year is, instead of coming down to the pavilion where everyone would be, we are actually going to be delivering food to your campsite, and staff, we will have tables set up and staff will actually serve you, still do our food line, still do our singing, kind of having that fun thing, but we will serve you in your campsites, and then the staff will then eat with you in the campsite. So everything will be made for you. Don't have to worry about that. The one thing is we do have a foil pack dinner on the second night, I believe it is, that you guys will do, but our staff facilitates the foil pack dinner. You guys we teach you how to pack it and cook it and do all that. So, but we do facilitate that. So we will be in campsites eating with you all and serving it. We are going to be the ones serving you. I believe that is it. I definitely want you to encourage you to, even if you've looked at the guide, definitely download the new one that will be posted tomorrow. I can send out emails to all those that are registered. already, and I can tell you when it is posted and live, so you can go through it and really look at it and see kind of those changes. Feel free to reach out to myself or Tate Dowell, our program director, if you have any questions, concerns, comments before you guys come. We're up at camp, but I have my email on me, and we'll be able to answer questions, and Tate does too. So we do try to check our email every day to do that. So I will answer anything you guys have, but I hope you guys are going to have a great rest of your night. We're still enjoying camp, so I'm going to get back to that, and thank you guys for letting me speak.
Well, thank you for joining us for our pre-camp meetings tonight. I hope that you learn some more information and will join us for one of our family camps or one of our Webelos camps at either Camp Big Timber or Camp Freeland Leslie. If you have any questions, all of our emails are on the council webpage. Our parent leader guides are all posted on the webpage. If you click on the Webelos Camp tab and go to the registration, there's a number of documents there you can download that will provide you with more information and with all of our contact information. So we look forward to seeing you all at camp this summer. Stay safe.